Shannon Aarons, and I teach 7th and 8th grade science at Garrison. And in this video, we're going to go over how to view responses in Google Forms or Google Form quizzes. So when you are ready to look at the responses from your students, navigate to your form, and then you'll notice at the top it says responses, and the number next to it is the number of responses you got from students on that form. When you click on that tab, you're going to have a couple of different ways to view these responses. The summary is just going to give you charts and graphs that help you notice some trends, things that are happening in terms of overall answers of students. If you have short answer types of questions, it's going to list every single student answer for that type of question. If you want to delve down into individual responses, you click on the individual tab. And then at the top here, you'll see I've got the number of students who have responded to this. And it's really easy to just go back and forth and see the responses for each one of your students. You can scroll down, take a look at how they did on the questions. If you have a short answer question and you need to manually review it, for this question here, I didn't give Google an answer to try to see if it could interpret the student's answer as correct or incorrect. And so I just didn't put an answer in there when I set the Google form up. And then I can go through and I can take a look at this answer and decide, yep, that's a great answer. I can give them the point for it. And then I click on the save button right here. And then that goes back to the top. But that will then show that that is a correct answer. So that's how you score those questions where you need to actually read the answers in order to evaluate the response. A couple of other things about this page: if you use a Google quiz and you've decided that you don't want students to get their score until you have had a chance to look at their answers, when you're done looking, this is where you release score, and it's going to give you the choice of releasing scores for all of the students or just some of the students. And then what that does is it sends the student an email to their school email telling them what their score is, and as well as giving them the opportunity to view that. And depending on what you checked in your settings, they will be able to see which ones they got wrong. They might be able to see the right answers if you chose that, and they'd be able to see the point value if you chose that. So that's how students can be informed that, yes, you have scored their Google form or their quiz. You can also turn off accepting responses if you don't want to take any more responses. You can export to Google Sheets, where you have more tools at your disposal to analyze the data. And one of the things I found super helpful this spring is that sometimes students would turn these forms in late. And what I found is that with these 3 dots right here, once I was done scoring or evaluating or giving feedback on this form on the due date, then I go in and I enable getting email notifications. And what that allowed to happen is then any student who turned in a late form, I would get an email saying that the student has turned in a late form, rather than having to go back to the form every day and see if I have any new responses. So that saved me quite a bit of time this spring. Okay, those are the highlights for how to view responses when you have used a Google form or a Google form quiz.